Call this meeting to order, determine there's a quorum. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself, we have a quorum. Commissioner Nettleton, if you could lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approving minutes, I didn't, unless they were emailed last night, I didn't see. Nothing to approve. Citizens' comments, nobody, or there's no one here. Budget workshop, item number 6. Judge, you want to go first?
Yes, if you don't mind, I appreciate your courtesy. If we have a few little PowerPoint slides, I want to see if I can get those up there. All right, I appreciate you all having me this morning. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can get this moving. Can't seem to get the next slide now. I don't know why. I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. Appreciate y'all, having me this morning. Basically what I want to do is express our gratitude for the many improvements that were made during this catastrophe and this year. A lot of county employees came together, very proud to say that we made a lot done, a lot accomplished with your help. And I want to show that to the citizens and to you. Of course, we talked about the intern program. Obviously, that was last year, but it led to the new intern this year. And I want to remind you that she's very interested in coming back home, and hopefully, maybe she'll be able to assist the court in the future. We're going to continue to communicate with Lada so that she can get that report that she talked about that they're working on. Hopefully, that'll help assist the court in assessing what we can do post-COVID. Hopefully, that'll come soon. But she also helped in this PowerPoint presentation, and I want to thank her as well for all of her time and efforts in doing this. I want to start off by one of the good improvements that were made a few years ago. That was the mental health camp. This is actually come into play quite a bit this year. With the pandemic, we've had a lot of mental health cases arise, and we've been able to have these mental health patients appear. This is one from the San Antonio State Hospital. Obviously, we communicated with them, and we don't have to send deputies to pick them up, bring them to court, and then take them back and have to drive back. So when we were able to do that, we obviously had a lot of the infrastructure already put in. The big screen TV, the amplifiers, the surround sound, all that was already in place. And so then when the pandemic hit, we were able to make adjustments rather quickly. With my staff working with IT, we've been able to use the county website that the county put up years ago. And now you can see here, we have at the very base here, our civil dockets are posted, our civil and criminal dockets are posted for the public to view, and then they can go over here as well, and then from there they can go to the YouTube channel. We now have a YouTube channel because the public has to be able to see court proceedings, and that's what we call the open courts requirement. And this was what when the pandemic first hit, this is what we were doing to try to adjust to the new world that we live in. So this really accelerated the technology aspect of the courts and how we were going to respond and continue to serve the citizens. And just very thankful that our IT department stepped up, my staff stepped up to get this done. The Office of Court Administration also helped get the YouTube channel going, so we were able to conduct court proceedings. And you can see here, this is the same screen that I was talking about with mental health, but all those blue things that you see here, these are hearings. And we've had a number of hearings. I've got the numbers in the other office, but we've had a significant number of hearings since we were able to get this implemented. This is a picture of the YouTube channel, so people can come in, watch court proceedings, and after the proceedings are done, we have to delete them. This is something that Lada helped with. This is our background. She helped get that accomplished as well, so that people are reminded that they are in court and they have to have, the decorum. We still want to make sure that just because, we're remote and we're doing this by video, that there is a decorum that still attaches to our proceedings. Judges have seen some crazy things on Zoom. This did not happen in our court, but this gentleman right here is actually rolling a marijuana cigarette during a Zoom hearing, which is incredible. So you gotta be careful what's going on during the court hearing. I just thought that was rather humorous, that it's unbelievable that some of the things that we see, not only in court, but now on Zoom. What the biggest concern for the courts, as you well know, is hitting this 90% CR 43 requirement. You can see here, early on, 2000, they take the 5-year average. We must hit 90% disposition on our criminal and juvenile cases, so that we can qualify for grants in this area. And you can see 2011 time frame, we hit that deadline. The deadline was August 1st, 2013. We hit it in May. So that was cutting it kind of close. But since then, the deadlines we have hit, like August 1st was the deadline, we hit it in March. August 1st, 2015 was the deadline, we hit it in January 2015. August 1st deadline, we hit it in November of 2015. August 1st, 2017, we hit November 29th of 2016. Of course, in 18, we hit in November of 2017. And 19, we hit it in January of 2019. And this is my concern this year, was we're going to be able to hit the 90% given the pandemic, because of we're trying to hold court. Well, lo and behold, we hit it December the 4th, 2019, and then as of August 1st, 2021, we got to hit our next deadline. I understand we are at 84%. So we are still on target to make sure that these monies flow in to our governmental entities so they can help better serve the citizens. I want to just say that I'm proud of all of the justice partners that are involved in this, from the county attorney's office, district attorney's office, court staff that help set these hearings, the county clerks, the district clerks, all of that, all of them came together, overcame the obstacles that we had, and that's the beauty of working within the counties. We have a lot of dedicated people that get the job done despite the obstacles that are put up. So that Stone Garden grant, which I know you all are more familiar with finances than I am, but it is a $1.132 million, and then when you add it all up, it's approximately $1.7 million. I have the printout here of what that compromise, that comprises. We've got Valverde County at $455,126. We've got Delaware Police Department, $198,240. We have some other counties that have now piggybacked on Valverde County, because Valverde County hits that particular deadline very quickly, and they can rely on that because of all of the hard work that we do. So they come in on the grant applications. We got Crockett County, we got $97,000. Junction Police Department, $224,000. We also had some local border security program at $48,000. DWI Specialty Court gets $186,000. Border Prosecution gets $187,000. And put the coronavirus emergency supplemental funding at $145,000. So, I wanted to bring that to your attention because that was the thing that I was very much, we as judges were concerned about. Because we know that what we do not only impacts people that come before us as residents, it impacts the whole area in terms of grants and our ability to even secure these grants. And I can tell you the adjustments that were made, the technology that was infused, that this court helped us with, has helped us reach those goals. Now, here's some security and safety measures that finally came online, and I think we've got it all kind of in place, although we can still build on it. This, again, back to IT, your vision in establishing the IT department has just paid off in spades. Ram, Mike, Stephen, they have done an amazing job of getting all this done. I have to sadly report that this year there was another attack on a federal judge at her home. I believe it was in New Jersey. She was attacked because she was a Hispanic judge. She was attacked at her home, and the gunman came up, and when the son opened the door, he opened fire and killed the son, and he also wounded severely her husband. Security matters. It matters to all of us. An attack on the justice system is an attack on our way of life. It's an attack on our Constitution. It's an attack on everything. So I want to give a lot of praise to the Security Committee and the people that are involved. You know who you are. Many people came together. They gave us the ideas, and then we went forward with those ideas. And you all were receptive to those ideas, and we got something done that had never been done before. So you'll see and you recognize these things. We have, this is the JPs now, and we have a total, once I go over all this, I'll tell you the total. There's the JPs offices there. This is the main courthouse of the judicial, this is the judicial center. I think you all recognize that as your main courthouse where we have a total of 14 monitors. There's 4 screens at the district courthouse. There's 4 screens at the main courthouse. There's 4 screens at the Fitzpatrick building. There's another screen at the sheriff's office dispatch. And we have another screen at the sheriff's office patrol. Got a total of 14 screens. And that way we have these particular, a lot of areas are monitored, 81 cameras. They go around the Val Verde County Judicial Center, the main courthouse on the con, the Fitzpatrick building, the county attorney's office, and the district attorney's office as well. Fantastic cameras, HD quality, they even see at night. So we can get film, video, whatever we need in case anything ever happens. But it's a far cry from what we used to do with these half domes and things like that. So I just want to compliment all the people that made this possible. And I really, if Roy Morstees is out there, I know that I wanted to personally thank him in this forum. He was there from the beginning. He helped us. He gave us great ideas. He helped us get these things when he was with purchasing secured. And we're going to miss him. I just want to let Roy know. I hope he's listening. I hope he's let him know that your efforts were greatly appreciated, along with everybody else's, of course. But I just want to let him know that from us. We finally got some things here, and I think that Judge Owens was very, very instrumental in helping all of this, of course. But we did do a security assessment on this courthouse here that we are in, the Judicial Center. We needed to upgrade on the fire alarms and the smoke alarms. They got done this year. I can tell you they're very loud. They do work. And we're very thankful that we now have a safer, environment, to work in. This is a 100-year-old building, obviously it was old. You can say this is the old fire alarm, it just wasn't functioning, and now we have good new fire alarms, and it's a very impressive, setup. Their box is, I'm not gonna say where it's located, but the technology is very impressive, and we're very thankful. We did a study. They came back with a study, and I remember what Judge Owen says, now that we have a study, we must act on it. And, I want to thank Judge Owens for pushing this through, and the commissioners for approving, everything that we did in order to secure this facility. These are the metal detectors. I didn't know we were going to have them come in at the time that we put together on a PowerPoint. I want to thank Linda for getting some of these slides in. You can see the old one was very old technology. I think it was more of a show than actual reality, but now we have these ones with new technology that work. And we're very happy, very thankful that we now have this. Again, the genesis was the security committee. And the sheriff was very instrumental in saying, this is what we need. And we were able to use those funds. And those funds are user fees. They're coming out when people file their particular cases here. There's money set aside for security fund. So, of course, you all know that. I'm letting you all know that, but I want the folks to know that these are funds that are collected when people file cases. And we're able to use these funds now to really enhance our security here. So during the COVID, and during the time that we weren't having as many people come to the courthouse, you can see we're making some significant improvements to our security, to protect our people here and protect everybody that comes into the courthouse. So you can see here, I took the picture from our security camera system. I didn't have to travel, but there's a new one at the County Court of Law, and then here's the new one at the Fitzpatrick Court. So very, very thankful that we got these new technologies up, and they're running. We just want to make sure we have a safe environment for all of the judges and courthouse staff, and what I call the courthouse family. Again, here's Stephen, Michael. That's him right here in the corner. That's the old technology from the federal courts. Again, I think it was more show than go, because it just didn't really work. This is Stephen putting up the new cameras that we have at Panasonic. We have Ram, Stephen, Michael, very instrumental in picking the right cameras and getting them to work. Again, this is we're talking about the YouTube channel. But the reason I have this photo here, gentlemen, is that's the GeoCam that you all authorized and helped us with. This is paid off in spades. We do not have to worry about transporting prisoners to and from court anymore. We can resolve many criminal cases now, especially the ones that are in custody. We were very, very, very concerned at the initial pandemic outbreak that we would be overrun with prisoners. We know that 120 or so, we are pushing maximum density. We obviously knew that if something happened with COVID, it was just going to be a tinderbox. It would spread through the whole facility. I can tell you, with all the efforts of the Justice Family Partners, we've been able to keep that particular jail at about, I think, 90% when you add in the out-of-town or out-of-county ones that they have. When you have the Albany County prisoners, but somewhere about 70 to 80 something prisoners, because obviously it changes. But we are now able, and I think the justices of the peace, we were able, because we have one camera, we had to come together to come up with a system when it was going to be used. Magistrations are done in the morning. I was able to, send out an email, real simple, say, hey, let me know, I want to be able to use this, camera. And so, no, 1 week, we get to do our criminal cases through the GeoCam. We do extradition hearings. We do a lot of things remotely, through, the Zoom and the GeoCam. Thank you. Bottom line. Thank you for getting this technology in there. It has really helped us reduce or keep that jail population down. It helps us reach our numbers and our goals in terms of 90% disposition. These are things I think the public needs to know about how this county and the people in this county responded. And didn't just throw up their hands, but they responded in a very visionary way to proceed and go forward and still have our system of justice function. We added the law library. We now negotiated another contract with Westlaw. Anybody that wants to come up and do legal research, this is going to be the same platform that the judges have. And we reduced it by a significant rate. So now there's a law library for the citizens to use. I want to thank maintenance. I should have thanked them a long time ago during this presentation, but we were able to now revamp this room. I think some of you remember what this room looked like when we first got here. It was literally just trash, and we thought it all cleaned up. I think Judge Owens, when he was commissioner, helped us secure the furniture, helped us get all of the carpeting done. We now have maintenance that was able to help us with bookshelves. It is a workspace. I didn't take a picture of this workspace, but we now have a very viable workspace, and we have people that go in there and do whatever they need to do to get ready for court. Sometimes they use it for alternate dispute resolution as well. These are things that we're using, the facilities we have, and we are making sure to take care of them, making sure that we're responsive to the public. I want to thank you again for the safety things that you all provided us. The masks, the sanitizers, again, maintenance with these particular shields. I know when we get back up and running, they're going to stay there. This is the 63rd, I believe the second floor of the 63rd. This is a satellite phone where I'm at right now. We're just doing everything we can to make sure that we don't become the vector of spreading this pandemic. I think it's been very, very helpful, and I just can't thank you all enough for that. Now, all I'm doing here is just to recommended improvements. I understand you're under a lot of pressures. I think unless we point it out, then you couldn't act on it. So, the first thing I'm going to do, I don't want it to be interpreted as any type of complaint. It's not. It's just recommended improvements that I hope that you all can get to this year to help us out. The roof repair. This is something that, in February would have been here 8 years. I tell you that it's never been fixed, regardless of whatever has been represented to the court. It's never been fixed. Now we don't get a lot of rain here, but when we do, this is what you can expect. And this I understand is the roof leak, and this is right here on the 3rd floor. It's unsightly. It also damages the carpet underneath. We're hopeful that maybe if there was any type of insurance proceeds, that somehow we can get a roof that doesn't leak. We're hopeful that can be accomplished. In a way, it's kind of a small thing, but in a way, it's also kind of a big thing, because you'll see in the next slide, we had some water damage. Not from the roof, I'm told. This was some other water damage. But you can see, I had this computer on the ground, but everything got wet. So this computer got destroyed. It doesn't work anymore. The screen doesn't work anymore. The keyboard went out. Obviously, we had our desks. That is what it is. But got it all cleaned up, but, destroyed, ceiling tiles. I mean, these are things that I'm hopeful that, we can get. This is all wet through here. There's a lot of, stains. I'm hopeful, and I'm gonna suggest, just a way of suggesting. Well, sorry about this. This is the court reporter's chambers. This is what it looked like after all this. This is the new, systems that were put in place. You can see the ceiling tiles and how they're all wet. And, I don't believe that it damaged our computer to the extent that it put it out. But, we did have a little post call here with, the keyboards and things like that. So I know that, it's being looked at to be replaced. I think risk management has been very helpful in coming over here and looking, trying to help us get these things done. I'm hopeful that maybe, with your support, it will get this roof and all this replaced. We were looking to try to replace.
That's all been fixed.
Yes, I'm sorry, and if anybody wants to speak, ask me anything.
I believe all that stuff's been repaired.
Now, we go down your list. I mean, first the roof, we're waiting on TAC. They're out going and getting bids for that. The room that's on the screen right now, I just talked to Edgar, and he said he'd already replaced the ceiling tile.
Right.
So that had already been done. Now let's go through your list. I mean, first, the roof. Can you go back, Judge, to the list? You had a list? One more, go back one more.
Okay.
That one. The roof repair, it is insurance, and it is, well, TAC's the one working on it. We're not working on it because they're the ones that are writing the specs for it. The ceiling damage has been replaced. The floor I think I spoke with you 2 weeks ago, and you said, well, I need somebody to come measure whatever, and I said, well, why don't you go ahead and figure out what you want, and then get with Edgar so y'all could get a price, because you actually said, you wanted different rooms and then the type of laminate. So it's versus having a third step or whatever, I think you were gonna get us that price and sort of get them to go measure. I think that's what you'd also done on the second floor. The repaving around the probation department, I think we talked about 2-3 weeks ago, that there was actually some money that y'all had in juvenile probation that once it was measured, that y'all would, look at maybe paying for the material or doing something with that money. And I told you at that point, once we got the estimate, we'd bring it to the court to see what they would do. The renovating of the old shelter.
What about the $300,000 that we give y'all for the juvenile probation facility, every year for upkeep and all that kind of stuff? Where's that money? I haven't seen a budget or anything, so I'm not sure what we do with it.
Did you hear that, or you can't hear that?
I believe he's asking about money that's given. They're going to, I've already spoken with the heads of both probation departments, the adult and juvenile, and they want to share in the cost of repaving. They want to do that. So we're going to move in that direction. And I don't know, I think you all know the people we need to bring together in order to get the estimate done, but they do want to have a shared commitment and a shared responsibility in getting that done. So we do want to, I say we all want to help work together to get that accomplished.
Can we get a budget for the $300,000 that we send to juvenile detention center to see what that money's being used for?
Sure, and I can get Mr. Chris Noyola to send that to you. I do not, I have not, I don't want to make any representations. I don't have it in front of me, Commissioner.
Okay.
But they do have monies. They want to, assist in doing that. It is a county facility, so they want to make sure that everything is done with y'all's permission and with y'all's blessing.
No, I totally agree with you. It's just we send y'all $300,000 a year every single year, and I have never seen a budget for what that money is being used for. So I would like to see what we're using it for.
I'll be happy to let him know and get that to you. I'll get it to you today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And the repaving, I just got off the phone with Edgar. Like I said, we had spoke a couple of weeks ago, and Edgar and them had measured the parking lot. he'll get us those numbers, in a little bit. So we'll have that this afternoon. The renovating of the old shelter, they're actually working on it right now. We didn't want to spend too much time on the inside until the roof and everything got repaired on it. That way, whatever we did on the inside didn't get ruined, but I think we're waiting on insurance. Is that right, Trevor? We're waiting on insurance to figure out, which way we're running on that one. And then the rest of it,
I'll get to them.
Okay.
I'll get to them.
okay.
I appreciate you all, helping us with those things, and let me see if I can get to it real quick. Yeah, well, this is what we did, I'm sorry. This is what we did on the second floor a couple of years ago. This is a high traffic area, it had carpet, it was very sink. Looks like wood, but it's a very hard plastic. And, that is what we would like to see done to the third floor, just in case, the roof leaks again, we're gonna have, we have water, whatever. This is plastic, it's not gonna hurt, it's gonna last, well, and I do have, they just gave me the estimate, Judge, they locked it up yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
So do I send it to you or purchasing? You said, to Ed?
No, just go ahead and get it to Edgar, and he'll get it to us, he'll get it to us, just to have it.
All right, so, we've got this carpet here also, we would like to just get it, replaced. The carpet in the courtroom because of the echo, and this is the ADR, room. Oh, actually, that's still the courtroom, I'm sorry. We also have the ADR room as well. But we would like to just put the paneling down, whatever you call that, the flooring down, where the damage that you saw, and this is the stained and wet carpet, that way we don't have to have any problems with anything on, we'll just be able to clean it up. If it gets wet, it gets wet, so be it. So, we will get you that, get it to Edgar. I wrote that down. This is the, paving, and I understand we're gonna get it done. I went over there and walked. This is also the, juvenile area where they play basketball. You can see all the divots and stuff in here, very easy to twist an ankle. And so, I'm hopeful we can get all that accomplished so that, it's the safety for the visitors, probation, employees, children. These, I think, was this a sewer line or something? I don't remember what this was here, but that was.
That's the front, that's the sewer line that we kept having problems with, so it was replaced, the whole line was replaced already.
So you can see these are also for, it's just been, we've got, we're gonna do this as a shared project, and I appreciate y'all's help on that. We talked about the old shelter, what I want to talk about here is our goal is to get the bulk of adult probation out of the facility that they're in, that they share with juvenile, and get them over here to this county asset. Once we do that, we want to focus our efforts in getting a pretrial services started. This is what we have at federal court. What that does is we'll be more robust in looking at people for bonds, making sure where they live, where they work, being able to monitor them while they're out, pre-trial, in other words, before they come to trial, so that we don't use the jail detention space. We understand that that is very costly, not only in terms of having to support prisoners medically, feeding them, all that, but also someone that is not out in public is not working. I mean, it also destroys their ability to make it, a living. So we really want to, would be very, very helpful because it's going to be in close proximity to the jail. We'll be able to go and interview these people once they're in custody and determine their ability to be a good candidate to be out on pretrial release. And then that information can be shared with the justice of the peace before they set a bond. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions about what we're going to be trying to do there once we get adult probation over there? Okay. All right. The Odyssey, I have Ellen Latimer here from Odyssey. I just want to be able to explain a little bit about having everybody on the same platform for the first time in history. Case management is very important. Basically, what's been filed in a case, when it was filed, who filed it. These are databases that are very, very important. Right now, we have an EDOC and one, I think with the county clerk, they have IDOC with the district clerk. They're two different case management systems. Odyssey would unify. I've got it 15 separate offices, finally, with one case management system. Think of this as a super highway. I know you all are dealing with from Hedda Road. I know how that is very important to the industrial park element of Del Rio. This right here would be super highways created so that everything could be communicated through all the justice partners. I counted 15 offices, the 63rd District Court, 83rd District Court, the district clerk, the district attorney, the county judge, and any visiting judges, because we have visiting judges that need to link in to see the documents that they're going to need to see before they rule on cases. I think there was an issue with the Title IV court, was there not, Judge Owens this year, where she had to link in? Do you recall that?
No, I don't, sir, I'm sorry.
All right, well, this is where I think she had to have a laptop.
Oh, yeah, I take it back. We actually got her a county laptop and got that for her.
All right, and so those are, I mean, she's doing the child support cases that are very important in this area. She needed to link in to the management, had to furnish her a laptop. Those are things that, you know, this is, and I'll get to it a little bit, adult probation, juvenile probation, treasurer's office, county attorney's office, county clerk, county court of law, sheriff's office, 4 justices of the peace. I counted 15 separate offices that could all be linked in together. So if, for instance, the justice of the peace has a bail bond that they have, once they scan it in one time, then the district courts can see it. We no longer have to worry about paper. Everybody will be able to see it. The sheriff's office will be able to see it, because it'll all be linked in through one database. That's very important when you're trying to make sure that the communication is going across the justice partners that need it. I think in a pandemic, it also kind of came to light that the less physical files that we have, the better. And as much as I'm hopeful that this will soon be behind us, it should certainly reemerge again. From a safety standpoint, it only makes sense that we go with less paper, less files, and better communication. Now, one of the aspects of it, and if you all have any questions, I have a lady here from Odyssey, is we'll have one unified database. I think it'll be easier for the auditor to come in and collect the monies when people pay fines, court costs, things of that nature, and then we can get that into the appropriate account so that you all can have access to that money sooner, rather than having to go through different databases, going over there and going through different types of, you know, however it is, however they enter it in. This makes it, I think, is going to make it a lot more seamless. One of the things I work with, because Pecos County has Odyssey. It is linked in to my computer here in Del Rio. I do not have to open a physical file to prepare for court. I can see everything online because it's internet based. All I have to do is log in. I think and that's going to be very important. Right now, what we have is an intranet, which if you're all on LinkedIn, but you have to be within the system. This is internet based. We have a lot of out-of-town counsel and many counsel that come from Eagle Pass that handle cases in court. But, the world is getting smaller. We have people, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, all of them, and they're all having a call a lot of times to the clerk's offices. Say, hey, what happened here? Can you send me this here? And if they were able to link in, you could charge them user fees. So there is a way to kind of defray the costs because they're going to be interested in making sure that they see the documents that are filed. They got better informed judges. I think attorneys here will want to link in as well. Right now, they have to come to the courthouse. I don't know if you all remember downstairs, there's a couple of, in this building, there's a couple of computers where they come in and they search things. If we have this internet base, they could link in and never have to worry about coming to the courthouse. Never have to worry about calling up a clerk. They'll be able to get the access to the information. I think at the end, we're going to have a better served public because we'll be absolutely more efficient across the board. Do y'all have any questions for Ms. Latimer? She's here. Anything that you want to ask her about this system?
Well, I'm looking at the cost. From what I can see, from what I have here, it's about 1.2 million, maybe, to purchase this, and then a residual of 153,000, which we currently have residuals on some of the programs we have, so I don't know what the difference is.
But not that much.
Are these, is that the number, the 1 point, this says 1,029,000, but I don't know, it says not including travel, estimated travel is 91, that could be more, so about 1.1, 1.2 million.
Yes, hi, good morning, this is Ellen Latimer from Tyler. So the implement that is the total of the project. The user fees are generally due at contract signing, and then the implementation services are due as services are rendered. And we're proposing a 14-month type of timeline, so you would be billed kind of monthly for all services that occurred during that time frame.
And this residual that's in here, this 153,000, which a 5-year cost of 765, does that include all of these additional licenses for all of these other departments?
And so that is inclusive of, I think we had 61 users that would actually be in the system updating, deleting, modifying, editing the information. And then we also have, we call it our portal. And so for those attorneys that are out of town, that information can get published, and then based off of their rights and rules, they can access that information.
And how do we charge for that?
I'm sorry?
How do we charge those out-of-town attorneys?
So we can set it up so you can charge a subscription fee, and that's totally up to you. And we would work with you during implementation as to how to configure that.
Is there statutes on how much we can charge?
If that's your choice, whatever you want to charge. If that would be kind of your revenue. That you can decide you would be charging, and you can do it like annually. Sometimes there's like a daily fee, it could be a monthly fee. It's really up to you and how you want to do that.
And this database is only as good as what's put into it, correct? If something's not put into it, it's not going to solve anybody's problem. If somebody doesn't input something or do something, then we still have the same issue.
Yeah, the data that you're putting in is bad data in is bad data out, absolutely. But what we would do is work with you on converting the data from your current case management systems. We do what we call like 3 test pushes. So we'll take that, we'll do an export, we'll import it into Odyssey, and then we would look to your subject matter experts to help us work with the data, validate the data, find things that are not consistent or that we don't want, in, and then we'll go back and modify that script again. And then we'll do another push, and we do that 3 times to make sure that the quality of data is satisfactory. And then we'll do that final push when we go live. And then as you start to utilize the system over time, we can put in sort of what we call field level edits and things like that to ensure that the information that is being put in has the level of integrity that you're looking for. Additionally, it's sort of what we call a party and a case-based system. So for example, if I am in your database as Ellen Latimer, for, let's just say I have a traffic ticket, and then I go and I want to file for divorce, the clerks would then search for the party of Ellen Latimer, and it'll pull up anyone that looks or sounds like Ellen Latimer, and then they can determine, okay, this is the Ellen Latimer that I want, based off of the information that, you set up during the implementation, because, okay, this is the match. So now that party record is already there. So you're not gonna have duplicate, parties in the system because of the way that Odyssey works. So it helps also with not having to re-enter the information over and over and over, so it's gonna give you more consistent edit data.
And this cost, does that include the training for every single one of these employees that have to use this program?
Does that include, I'm sorry?
The training for all of these employees that are gonna have to use it?
Absolutely. So what we'll do is, while we're implementing, we'll work with, we'll look to the different offices to kind of give us what we call sort of a subject matter expert. And we'll work with them on implementing the system based off of your business practices. We'll make recommendations of best practices, things that we've done elsewhere in Texas. If it's agreeable, then we can implement it that way. And so they're going to be learning the system as it's being implemented. And then prior to go live, we will do training for all of the employees as to how to use the system. Additionally, during your go live, it's called go live support. We'll have people either, well, depending on where we are with COVID, either here or what we would call our command center, available to be with you as you're, going live and using the system over a period of time.
And what's the time frame on those as far as technical support and all that? Is that included in the residuals of
Absolutely. So those yearly fees are your user fees. We're proposing that it be implemented as a software as a service, and we would be hosting it within the Amazon Web Services Government Cloud, which has all of the security from a CJIS compliance as well as data security as well. And that is all inclusive, including the customer support. So if one of the clerks doesn't remember how to do something, they can call our customer support. If something happens technically, your IT team can call customer support. Plus, we also have what we call Texas University, where we'll help the team create kind of curriculum. So as new employees come into the county, you don't have to send them to training. It's kind of like an on-demand training that can be specific to what their role is in the organization.
Okay, the cost, 1.1 or 1,029,000, but probably gonna go 1.1, somewhere around that. The annual is 153, what we have right now is about 50,000, but, what we pay right now is about 50,000, so it's $100,000 per year difference. The only thing would be is that with them, we have some servers coming up that we're probably going to have to replace, right?
That's correct, and if you were to adopt this Odyssey, that would actually bring that cost down.
No, that's what I'm saying, I'm just trying to figure out how to make up $100,000 a year. The 1 million, I mean, the court's gonna have to decide, with everything that we have going on, do you want to drop $1 million now? We've got $1.7 million that we know for sure we're gonna have to come up with Frontera, and like you said, you could treat this as a major highway or major freeway or whatever. The problem is, when I look at this versus Frontera's gonna make me money because hopefully we can bring in more businesses and we get to keep what we have there on taxes from here on out. That's the only difference between that and this. We have IDOC and we have EDOC right now. Are they working perfectly? No, I mean, there's always issues, but they're functioning. So the court's decision is, do you spend $1.2 million, whether you split part of it now and then part of it the other year? But you're still gonna have $100,000 a year difference. And again, you'll be able to make some of that up because you're having servers and stuff that we won't have to buy. You'll be able, but, I mean, it's a hard decision.
What do the rest of the judges want?
What did the rest of the judges?
Yeah, raise for our the,
Okay, well, let's stop right there. Before you go on, you just said a raise for the clerks. If we don't do this, we might have enough money for raises. Okay, so
They already gave theirs raises,
huh?
raises.
not y'all.
The district judges have the right to give, auditors and purchasing raises, which that they've already done. Okay, so
I disagree with their authority to give the assistant purchasing agents raises. I don't see anything in the statute that authorizes it.
You know, I will say again, I mean, I'm not for raises. We have so much stuff going on right now. But if we're gonna do Odyssey or we're gonna give raises, I'd rather give raises, even though I don't wanna give raises.
I agree with you on that, Judge.
But that's court decision, whatever you wanna do.
We're in the middle of and me and you, Judge Cadena, had this discussion yesterday, a very lengthy discussion on this. While I agree every single employee in this county deserves a lot more than they get, with the issues that are going on in this county right now and the people that are hurting without jobs and the people that are struggling to keep their doors open in their businesses, and I don't believe it's a time to hand out pay raises. I know y'all have the authority to do it. Can't stop you. I don't believe you have the authority to give the two assistant purchasing agents pay raises, but we did. The court will have to decide if we're going to do that. We've handed out quite a bit in pay raises, and while every single one of those employees deserve it, this is not the time or the place. And now we're asking for 1.2 million for this, and we're asking for that, and we hand out a lot of money. And we have always done everything we needed to do to make sure that the judicial system and the sheriff's office functioned the way it needed to function. And I think that maybe come March or April, if we can figure all this out, then we do need to look at the rest of our employees. We've done it in the past where we struggled going into a budget and we didn't get raises. We came back when things got looser and we did what we had to do. And I think we need to look at that come March or April, depending on where we're at. Me and you, Judge, had a lengthy conversation on this yesterday, and I'm not going to get into a big hoopla on this today. I don't agree with what happened. I don't agree with what is here, the $11,000 pay raises in juvenile and some of these other pay raises of $8,000. I think it is way too much. But anyway, the court can decide what they want to do on Odyssey. I agree that there's a point that we need to figure out how to get better technology. But we have one judge, and I haven't heard from the rest of them, so I want to hear from the rest of them before I spend $1.2 million in taxpayers' money to do it. And make sure that everybody's going to use it, because if they're not going to use it, I might as well just take $1.2 million and flush it down the toilet, because it's not going to work. But those are things that we'll have to discuss as we go along.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't want to speak out of turn.
No. Go ahead, yes, ma'am.
Okay, regarding the pay raises, this is my personal opinion. My staff did not make a statement. They're very grateful for their jobs and what they do receive. I think it is a slap in the face to every other employee of a lower pay grade, a lower amount, to see people getting $10,000, $11,000 raises while they're hoping that the expired foods that we receive here when there's a county handout, will help them feed their families and feed their kids and try to make it. You know, when someone's making $25,000 a year, if they're trying to live on their own, even a single person, that is barely gonna keep a roof over their head, it's barely gonna buy them gas.
If you don't mind, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
That's okay.
And I'm sorry. I just sitting there listening to you, so I forgot to
My
ask you to come
captivating
up.
voice.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. You know, I see the women in my office, and I'm sure that, the people in the other offices are the same way. They don't make enough to live reasonably as it is. And then what a slap in the face to see people that are already making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 get
85,000.
85,000, excuse me, Judge, for a pay raise of maybe
11,000.
$10,000 or $11,000. Thank you for your assistance. You know, it is a terrible slap in the face, and I know that a lot of the things that the lower paid employees don't seem to be of a great value. But let me tell you what, and I would ask Judge Lopez, I think is the only other JP here, but I would ask her to correct me if she thinks I'm wrong. But what we do, even the clerk's activities, have a tremendous effect on people's lives. They do. And we as JPs cannot run that office on our own. We've got to have that help. And the office is not about convictions, it's not about collections, it's not about anything else except justice. That's what we are there to provide, is justice. And that's not an easy walk to take. A lot of times it's very difficult. And, you know, I know we all do the best that we can, but even a minimal raise would help these people. They're struggling. They're running out of gas on the way to work. They're running out of groceries. I mean, there's lots of things, and it's not poor management on their part. It's poor income on their part. And I've got one that's working 2 jobs just to keep a roof. So that's my opinion about that, and I find it terribly offensive that those raises would be given to those higher paid employees.
Judge, are you saying that some county personnel are not more entitled than others to receive raises?
No?
I think every single employee in this county deserves to get paid more than they get paid.
I think every county employee should be treated the same.
But at the end of the day, I believe there is a time and a place, and I think we need to relook at this in March. But right now, we're all trying to get through this. We have businesses struggling, we have people struggling,
Yes,
and
we
we're
do.
thankful that we even have a paycheck. You know,
Yes.
but there's people that don't. And I appreciate the county employees for understanding that. And I agree with you when I see this kind of stuff. This is a slap in the face, not just to, the rest of the employees, but to the taxpayers and everybody else. But it is what it is, and people have the authority to do what they have to do. You know, I hope
But
that this
ultimately,
court-
I believe
hope
that choice is up to the Commissioner's Court.
No, not in this case.
Not in this case?
I hope that this court and things will change between now and March, and we can relook at this like we have in the past, and do something for the rest of the employees. Preferably not a straight across the board, but some kind of step program where the body moves up and the top gets a little bit. But anyway, we'll go through that.
And we've done that since we did.
Yes, you have, and I think it's been very effective, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I believe that all the employees are really appreciative. And Commissioner Wardlaw, I think I may have misunderstood your question.
I think you did.
It took me a little while to get that to circulate, but I
You were
did.
supposed to, you came out with the wrong answer.
Yeah, well, okay, what can I tell you?
Judge, I'd like to say something concerning this. I'm a big believer that we need to give the people a raise that we can afford it. Now, I know right now monies are tight, but, we need to help them at least, I don't know, 1% increase, help them out with the cost of living.
Right.
And you know, what Judge Pereira did, I mean, he's got the authority to do that, so we have no say-so in it as to stopping him. So he did what he needed to do, but we need to try to do what we can to help our people.
Okay.
We have-
Commissioner Flores, I understand your comment, your question, and so catch up with Commissioner Wardlaw, but yes, I
We
apologize.
had $1 million, Judge, we had $1 million in this budget here, and correct me if I'm wrong, for Frontera, that basically got put back into this budget, in the next year's budget, so we can sort of balance our budget. So therefore, we're still having to go out and borrow $1 million that we already had in this year for next year.
Right.
So we've already ate up $1 million. Now I've got 700, and this is just one little piece of this puzzle. Now I've got 700 and some odd $1,000 that I've got to add to that $1 million that I'm gonna have to go borrow. So when you look at our structure, we're spending more money than what we're collecting. Okay, so if we could slow this down a little bit, and when you look at what the court has done in March and in April, people went home and got paid.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, we have 21 people, I think, that are home and getting paid. Okay. Who's gonna do that work? So how do I, you know what I mean? This court, I think, has gone beyond, because even before the state said people can go home, we'd already sent people.
Sure.
All right. And again, they got paid.
Yes.
Right now, 2 weeks ago, we did not have to pay these individuals that are home, because we'd already done it. But the court voted to pay them, whoever went home, because of their kids, for the 3 weeks. to
Sure.
pay them. So all of that needs to be taken into consideration. Would I like to give everybody a raise? Yes. When you look at what we did last year with the amount of where we were at and then where we went to, I think it was a big step. I've been here 9 years, and we've given raises every year. And we did the STEP program 1 year to where people under 30,000 got X, people between 30 and 45 got X, in order to bring the individuals that were under the 30,000 up closer, because
Yes.
it just kept getting separated.
It's wonderful.
So I'm gonna defend the actions that we've taken for the last 9 years. If the court decides to give raises, then we need to go pull from something else that's already in this budget. Okay?
I understand. You only have so much coming in.
$1.7 million just on that. We went out to fight fires the other day, and I'm fighting fires with a dozer with no windows. And, I mean, so how do I put, and this is just my thinking, okay? But how do I put these people at risk? They don't even have glass in the damn dozers. I don't have a suppression system in the dozers in case they get up there and catch fire. But I'm trying to save a school, and I'm trying to save houses. So, and I'm not putting employees second, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that there's a list of stuff that we have to do.
Right.
We must do. Luckily, we had the Forest Service came in, they were in Uvalde, but they're not usually in Uvalde. You know, we burnt 1,000 some odd acres, and it's up against the school. We had another fire up on the north side of town. We've got $200,000 in this, or $125,000 in this budget to buy a brush truck, because we're driving trucks that are 1960 model trucks. Okay? We're supposed to get another $75,000 that we had not received, and I think they're coming in September, the middle of September, to come get us another $75,000, just so I can make up the difference to buy a fire truck. And I know people out there are gonna say, well, you gotta take care of your employees. I think we've done a good job of taking care of our employees. I really do, and I'm gonna defend that. Do I think they deserve a raise? Of course. I mean, we had people, and there's 2 of them back there, they worked the whole time. Y'all worked, our precincts worked, our district clerks worked. I mean, they sent people home. All these people stayed here and worked. They handed out disinfectant, they handed out, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they were mixing disinfectant, doing hand sanitizer. Again, if the court wants to give raises, which I think we need to wait and figure out some of these other projects. But if the court wants to give raises, and that's an absolute, then we need to pull from somewhere else.
I understand, and I, you know, having been in the position, at
For
the
several
city.
years.
Yeah, for 8 years, I sat there and watched the shell game as we were trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, and I know y'all are doing the same thing. And I admire what you're doing, and I can tell you that my employees have spoken very adamantly how much they appreciate the jobs that they have, how much they appreciate the insurance that they have, and the opportunity to not be worried every day that they're gonna be furloughed. That would be a real
And Judge, and
catastrophe
that's
for lots of people.
never, ever, that right there has never, ever come up.
I haven't
on
heard
this
that
court,
word here.
Ever.
But, you know, as I said, my contention is the fact that, you know, people at the very high end of the scale are getting enormous raises, while the people at the bottom are getting thrown nothing. And I know that you don't have any say-so about that situation, but I would like to object to the fact that it happened. And regarding Odyssey, I'd just kind of like to give you some information to consider about Odyssey. And I stand to be corrected if Matt or Judge Lopez have anything to add to that, or challenge me on, that's fine. What we have is we have all these entities that don't communicate. You know, imagine yourself if you had a commissioner's court, but yet y'all could not communicate. You could never get anything done. We have a situation where, let's just say, for instance, a person comes to the window, I need to pay a ticket. Okay, what is your name and your date of birth? Okay, so we looked that up. No, we don't have anything for you. Well, do you know where it is? No, and we don't have any way to look. So then, depending on if it is a JP ticket, they've got to go to the 3 other offices to find out if their ticket is there. Sometimes they come to us to pay municipal tickets. And of course, that's not our department. But, you know, for instance, in the situation where we talked about setting bonds, we can't get any information up to date that would tell us about a person's history because we're not allowed, and I'll let the sheriff correct me on this if he needs to, we are not allowed to read the criminal history report. Would you agree with that, Sheriff? The deputy can scan them and tell us if they find anything significant there. But it would be much better if we could see what's even in our county. You know, we sometimes have the situation where someone has had a really bad arrest for an awful incident, and we need to know before we let that person back out on the street with a moderate bond if they're a threat to this community. If they are, we need to escalate that bond based on the situation and the safety of the community. That's our job. We have to do that. But you know, are we going to call the district clerk? We're going to call the county clerk, and we're going to call every JP office to find out what this person's got on, what pending things they have. Maybe they haven't been convicted, but maybe they've had 5 felony DWIs, but they haven't yet been convicted. Do we really want to set them out there on the street so they can get number 6 and maybe kill somebody?
So, I mean, bottom line is you'd like to go to one program.
I'd like us to get one program, yes. You know, it would save the clerks a lot of time and aggravation trying to help people, and it would also save the JPs by giving us the information that we need to know about the clients. Now, let's say this 5 DWI person was magistrated by me, and I ordered an ignition interlock device. Okay, so the person is supposed to have the ignition interlock device on until they go to court, and the trial court decides that they need to continue it or they no longer need it. So that's the trial court's decision. Okay, in the meantime, it is our job to see that that ignition interlock is monitored, so we don't have somebody out here driving around with alcohol in their system to hurt somebody. So we review the records, we have show cause hearings, we try not to, if we can see that somebody has been complying and then all of a sudden there's a slip, we get on the phone and call them, say, okay, was there a problem? Yes, my car broke down and I couldn't get there, but I'm going today. That's fine. We don't need to have a hearing about that. And then I ask them to send us a report from the Smart Start people, letting us know that they've got it. But then there comes a point when the case may be filed by the county attorney or the district attorney in the court. Well, immediately when it's filed in that court, we lose jurisdiction. So every time somebody doesn't comply, we gotta call around, find out with the county clerk, the district court, county attorney's office, we gotta find out where this is.
Why is that?
Sir?
Why is that? If we have EDOC and IDOC and all that, why are we still calling?
Because with EDOC, we have no way to access those offices.
I thought we fixed that.
They're separate databases. There's 6 total separate databases.
Yes.
You're not unified.
No. So, I don't know what the other JPs have got going
And
on.
EDOC and IDOC both are the same way, so each individual office has their own, that only they can access.
IDOC is different, and only district clerk has IDOC. But the county clerks is apart and separate from the 4 JPs. 4 JPs have the work.
I thought we had this conversation not too long ago about getting that fixed. I thought we threw some money at it, I thought we had this conversation.
It's not there. I can't see anybody else's stuff and I
Did
don't
we
think
not
they're
have
seeing
this
ours.
conversation?
We did.
And put some money into it, try to fix it?
About 5 years ago. It's been a while. Yes, ma'am.
And then,
We do have, when they come to my, court to ask for, if we have a ticket, we have access to say, no, it's difficult, and we'll send them there, just, but we do have, like, they gave us that capability to where at least we can tell the people, oh, it's not in our office, it's in precinct 2 or precinct 1. We won't see your images, we won't see, and we can't tell people, this is the fine, because I don't know what
Right.
the fine is.
But you can send them.
We send them to.
Can you look at the district clerks and the district judges or the
Not the district.
not district, not
county
county.
court of law, just the 3 JPs? So all we fixed was the 3 JPs, the 4 JPs.
So, I don't know what the problem is that I don't have the access.
They do have access to the county clerks. And whether they have access to district's IDOC, that's different. But it's not within the same application. So they're running their application. If they want to view anything in any of the other JPs, they've got to open up a separate application for a separate database. They're
So
not unified.
how difficult is it going to be to take all of this and convert it into one?
I understand that
$100,000?
in that quote, and conversions, as always, are a challenge, no doubt. But, Lauren assured us that can be converted. Unifying the databases for the entire county would match up with what y'all approved in 2015, of unifying all our networks, all our domains.
I guess the first decision would be, does the court agree that we need to go to one centralized,
Well, I agree we need to go to one centralized system. I don't
If I may,
know what that
Judge
system is.
Gonzalez, at one time, he also, came before y'all, and he wanted access to our images, because we deal with a lot of his cases, and now he has access to be able to look stuff in our, so he got some license or something, or if I'm not mistaken. So
Okay.
now Judge Gonzalez has access to our JP's, paperwork. And, because
That's
we approved
correct,
it.
and they always have to pay extra licenses to be in that.
okay, so we're $100,000 apart. And I understand that the servers and all that, Matt, that there would be more that we could recoup that difference in the yearly cost, right? How much are the licenses and stuff like that if we were to add them? I mean, in other words, I'm $100,000 apart just in service.
Well, I thought this number included everything.
I understand
The,
that.
the 1,029,000.
150 some. Hold up a minute.
No, it's $150 some odd thousand, $153,000 a year for the service. We pay 50,000 right now.
And that, does that include all the license? For
Yes,
annual license and everything?
yes.
Yeah, so, and this is Ellen again, just to add to that, if you're talking about, I couldn't really see, oh, sorry. I couldn't really understand who was getting access to the documents or the images. But if that is people that are not actually going to be modifying the record, and it's just the document images and the case information, that there is no cost for those external users, unless, of course, you want to charge them that subscription fee to the portal. They can log on, they can create their own account, come in and search the cases. I know the judge showed you that you have the dockets and the calendars, but we would also provide sort of the opportunity for outside people, not within the county system, to search for a case based off their case number or a party name, pull that up, and then see any of the associated documentation with it as well. They could look at the document, see if they want it, and then based off of how we set it up, they can then print it out. You can also charge for those printing fees as well. So, but that is not a license. The license is for the people that are actively using the system to basically manage the case through
She
it.
can answer your question.
No, I understand all that, but like everything else, there's always a hidden fee that they come back later and go, ooh, you gotta pay this because that wasn't included. So what I'm trying to get to is what other cost are we gonna have with this $153,000 annual cost? What other cost are we going to have associated with that?
There aren't. I mean, you'll still have your.
We got that on tape, right?
Desktop. It includes all of it's your license fees, it's the maintenance and support. It includes every time that the state decides that they want to put out a new legislation based off of a state report. That is all inclusive within your maintenance and support. So there should not be any additional fees unless you come back to Tyler and say, hey, we now need to build an integration to a third-party system, and we want Tyler to build it. Then that would be something that would get
What
scoped
do you
out
mean?
and give you the choice if you wanted to do that. Currently, we don't see any of those integrations being necessary.
Go ahead and ask her because she lost me.
Yeah, what are we gonna integrate to? What are you talking about?
Well, so for.
I'm assuming this program integrates to our financial program, it's the same company.
Yeah, right. So, and that is something to the Info 10 financial system. That is something that is on the table. It is not yet a project within Tyler, but it is something that is on the roadmap.
So this will not talk to our financial program.
So what will happen is, because all of the financials are in Odyssey, right? It has a complete financial management system. You will be able to pull reports that would then give the auditors the ability to have one big picture of all of the financials within the judicial system. The integration between Info 10 and
Always
Odyssey
something.
is planned.
Just a little bit, last year when we went through this, the Odyssey was more expensive than EDOC and IDOC. Where we would make up the difference between EDOC, IDOC, and Odyssey and the cost of Odyssey was that Odyssey was cheaper per year. And I think we looked at it like they were gonna be cheaper per year because we thought that if we went with EDOC or IDOC, because we already had one had it, that all we'd have to do is get the other one. It didn't work like that. So Odyssey was a little bit more expensive. What we had looked at is in 2 or 3 years, the difference yearly would make up that difference. And then what we were gonna hang our hat on is what you just said. Hopefully at some point, Tyler and Odyssey would be able to talk to each other, and that's what they were working on last year,
That is correct.
right?
The other thing too is, we come out with new releases every year or 2 years, major releases. That is also, it's called an evergreen perpetual licensing model. So once your user fees are in place, you then get the opportunity to have that new feature function from those releases at no additional cost. So basically, you will never have an outdated case management system. You will always have the ability to take on new releases. And what we're proposing in this hosted solution, the SaaS model is what we call managed services. So you will still have your environments where you have your production environment, your staging environment, and your test environment. As these new releases come out, your IT team here will not have to worry about doing the upgrades. Tyler will do them, they'll put them in your test environment, we'll say, okay, in 6 months, we're gonna push this to your live environment. Your team will go through some testing and validation, and then the push happens. So it's a true kind of SaaS environment where you're getting all of the best without you guys doing any of the hard, heavy lifting.
And then when you do that, you provide training for all these employees that have to use it.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't cost extra to do that.
Nope. The training will be, it'll probably be through like our, Tyler's, university, where we'll say, here's the new features and functions that are coming out, and here's how to learn more. If you needed, obviously, if you needed additional training, there could potentially be additional costs, but all of that new information is going to be put out at Tyler University. Additionally, we also have, great customer service team. We have over 600 employees within Tyler's Court and Justice Division alone. The majority of those are implementation people as well as customer support people. You also have the Tyler Forum community where all of the Odyssey users basically can go in and ask questions to their peers in other counties. So for example, there's a train going. For example, if there was a process that you wanted to learn about or something that you needed to understand a little bit better, you can pose that question and the other counties will then provide information. So you are becoming part of the Tyler community that is networked with hundreds and hundreds of users to give you best practices and information in addition to the support team. So if you want to call support 10 times a day, you can call support 10 times a day. It's not limited by any means.
This will be our longest meeting, just for everybody's information. Mr. Ramon, are you there?
I'm sorry? Yes?
Mr. Ramon, what do you think? Well, I mean, you can give me a thumbs down or tell me you'll talk to me later or something. Sorry. Okay, that'll work. I guess the court needs to decide first, and we'll let Matt, because he keeps, Matt, go ahead, I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, good. Hi, Judge.
You want to wait till he comes back, or you want to talk?
That would be good.
Well, can I just make one last
Yes, ma'am.
comment on the budget, and I'll go away and...
No, don't say it like that. We appreciate you coming.
Well, thank
Okay.
you, Gary. I would like to say on the travel and training, you wanted to cut that budget by 60%.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't have any issue with that because obviously we're not going to be going anywhere the rest of this year, this calendar year, which falls into the new fiscal year. But I did receive, and I'm sure the other JPs did too, we did receive a notice saying that they would have in-person training in 2021. So we may have some then, and I understood
And there'll be
that.
money available if you come to the court.
Right, if we come to the court, there will be, but I don't have any issue with the 60% cut in travel and training. I think it's excess money that we just don't need at this time.
Okay.
Again,
Raises number one concern.
sir?
Raises number one concern.
That's my biggest concern. And, I know you have a tough job, and I appreciate all the effort that all of you put into
That's
it.
when we all get paid the big bucks.
If you got paid by the hour, it wouldn't pay so good, would it?
Yes, pretty so.
But, thank you for all you do, I appreciate it, and I want to say on behalf of all the employees in my office, they are very grateful for their jobs, they're grateful for their insurance, and, whether they get a raise or not, their integrity is important to them, and they're going to continue to do the very best job that they can do. And I have a lot of confidence in them they would be, very grateful if they got a raise, but they're gonna continue on if they don't.
Judge, I sure do thank you.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And by the way, the day that the, budget was released, your budget was released, I called your office the minute I got that and left a message for you saying
Yes, ma'am.
that we appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Matt?
Yes. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just to wrap up a few of those items that we discussed, and Alan can jump in here if anything is inaccurate, that it was, that $1.1 million cost, that does not have to be paid up front. We will pay that over time.
And in
that
saying that, let's sort of scratch one thing off at a time.
Okay,
And in saying that, in the fiscal year that we are in right now, there was $400,000 put in case we needed servers or something. We have not touched that $400,000.
that is correct.
So, I'm sorry, just, so we sort of check
Sure.
off as we.
Right, but that implementation cost does not have to be paid up front. Can be paid out, within the implementation of the 15, 16 months. And also that is a one-time infrastructure upgrade, so that would be eligible to take out debt against that. Now, what we do know is when we started this project, the implementation costs were around $850 a few years ago. So while we will have to take on the 153, we do not have to take on the full 1.1. And this is one of the situations where the longer you wait, the more the implementation costs get, due to labor costs and due to travel costs and due to everything else. Is that correct? Like,
Hey, you working for the wrong company?
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying, if this is the direction that you want to pursue, you want to become an exceptional, innovative entity.
Oh, goddamn.
And if you decide you want to take that route,
Just, we're listening.
okay, all right. So the implementation costs can be accrued with low interest debt. It is only the annual costs that are going to be due that current year.
I'm buying a truck with low interest debt too, don't mean I can afford that damn thing.
Well, we have to project our tax roll, and if we project our tax rate, we can probably get there. Is anything that I said about that inaccurate, Ellen?
No.
Okay.
You are.
All right, now I'll jump onto some other issues that were just raised, and I'll just make a quick comment about them. The pay raises of purchasing agents. We do have, we were relying on AG Opinion Authority M708. It did come out in 1970. If we want to, we can go to the AG's office and ask them to restate that.
You're basing it off of what?
Attorney General Print M.
For the two assistant purchasing agents?
Correct.
In the statute,
In this, okay.
in the statute, 262.011, there is nothing discussing assistant purchasing.
Correct, but in Attorney General opinion, which is an interpretation of that statute, there is. So we can rely on that statute, or we can reach out to Attorney Generals to have them restate it or repeal that decision. Now, on the pay raises that were $11,000, those were not county. That did not come out of county coffers. That
How
was
did they
state
not
money.
come? I am so sick and tired of hearing this.
What's that?
Do we send money to those departments?
We do.
Oh,
But
you
their
said it's
salaries-
still county money, it still is what it is. Whether you,
Okay,
you're talking, you're splitting hairs here.
No, I don't
You know, we
think so.
send $300,000 to juvenile detention, we send $33,000 to juvenile probation, we send $60,000 to adult probation, it's still taxpayer
we
money.
do.
Now,
Now, you're saying,
if you wanna claim that it came out of here, it's still the same thing.
well, I don't believe that because their salaries are paid from the state. Now, that $11,000, that was from someone coming off of probation who was hired in as the chief at a lower rate. He came in and he got moved up because he was officially appointed.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, if they have the
Okay.
authority, it's done, it's over, life goes on.
Okay, well, I just want to make a few statements. I didn't want to get in discussion about it. But if we want to talk about $11,000 raises coming out of county coffers, we did do that last year to precinct foreman. There was a few that got 11, I think there was one that got 12,000, and that was directly coming out of the county coffers. Now,
You really wanna go down this road, Matt? Do you really wanna go down this road?
well, hopefully after we get all of these agenda items done.
Are you sure you wanna go down this road?
Hopefully, well, if you want to, after all of these issues are taken care of, I know we've got a couple people on Zoom pending, and then we can pursue that, if you want to.
Matt, what is your idea on some people in the county getting raises and others aren't?
Commissioner, I would really love to run through this agenda, and then we can have this.
Just what is your idea? Your personal thoughts?
Just stop.
Okay.
You know, I appreciate everything that's been done. That's why I came here, was just to really thank you all for everything that's accomplished. We don't need, no, just, I'm real happy with, we love coming to work. The employees love coming to work. So that's about it. No, I came back here from federal court because I know that we make a difference together. It's just that simple. And we will be with you, shoulder to shoulder. We will stand with you as we go forward and we face these challenges together. I mean, this is what I wanted to show you and concluding. This is what I saw when I walked across the street almost 7 years ago. That is the lettering on the Judicial Center. This is where we're at today on the right-hand side. We have made a marked improvement because we've all worked together. No agendas other than to get things done right. Period. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate everything you all have done. We don't always agree on stuff. I get that. But we've made a heck of a difference in the way things are done. And that is what I want to tell you before I end. Hopefully this stuff will get over with, this COVID, and we can get back to having some fun. This place is a fun place to work, period. Yeah, that's me in the T-Rex costume. I enjoyed that event, and I hope that we do more of that, because it's just, like I said, it's just a fun place to work, and I appreciate everything you all do. All right?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay?
Thank you.
Fair enough. Okay, now, I heard one thing about the raises. I know you don't want to do that, and I respect that. I respect that. I just want you to look at one thing before I go, because I gotta get going. This, I want you to look at this come March or April or whenever you feel is appropriate. All right? This is the math that I did, and I had it confirmed by the head of the math department at the high school. All right? Because I want to make sure that I do not misrepresent a thing to you. All right? Not one thing. This is what my assistant court coordinator makes now, $37,130.36. Okay? She started with the county back in 2003 as an assistant court coordinator. The other court coordinator, and she's a great lady, I'm not saying anything disparaging, she makes $35,328.06. Belinda has been in here, really, I went the lower route. 8 years longer, but makes only $1,802 more. When you sit there and do the math, that equates to a $225.29 raise per year over an 8-year period. This is when you do the division. Her annual increase is 0.006 over that 8-year period. If you wanted to go 9 years, because if you look at 2003 is when Belinda started, and 2012 is when the other assistant coordinator started. It's actually a 9-year difference. It goes down to 0.005. I simply want you to look at it, see what you think is fair, and we'll live with it. Okay? But I think there's something in there that does not, in any way, shape, or form, reward longevity. And that is the only point that I wanted to make, and I will take responsibility for what happened last year. I didn't do the math right, and I didn't present it right. And that was my fault. Okay? But this year, I want to tell you, there's some things I think that need to be looked at. I trust your judgment. I know all of you personally. I know you all are fair. I understand that. But there's something in here that just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't. And I just want you to see if you can help me figure that out. Because I don't know what happened, but I can tell you, there is no way we should value an employee at 0.006% over that type of loyalty. That's loyalty, that's what we need. That's why we have the people, the good people we have, we want to hold on to them. Because at the end of the day, this institution, the biggest asset we have are our people. And I want to keep them. And I just want you to consider that. Come March, April, May, whenever. I don't care if it's next year, but can you help me figure it out? That's all I've got. I gotta go. I've got some crates to deal with. Unless you all have any questions, I am here to answer them. Let me finish this up. I need to know how to get out of here, so let me, somebody show me how to get out of here. There we go.
You're done. He said he'd do it.
Thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Look forward to presenting something next year where we've got other things that we accomplished and the public can see we're going for. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it, IT, for hooking me up. And maybe next year I'll be able to come and see you in person. All right? You all take care.
Zooming up.
Okay, thank you. Somebody
Okay.
disconnect me.
They're trying. Okay, that was interesting. I guess, ma'am,
Can I make a comment? And just in regards to the pay,
yes, ma'am,
um,
if it's gonna be good.
you know, I've been employed with the county for 6 years already. We've done our commissioners with the judge, you yourself, last year, we worked really hard on getting pays changed for employees, getting raises. The court has always addressed our employees and taken care of our staff, starting from the top department heads all the way down to your entry-level employees. Last year, we classified our clerical, our entry-level, we're paying close to $12 an hour. We reclassified our foremen, our heavy equipment, we changed our base pay. I think we've done tremendous work to take care of our staff. You know, our benefits are great for our employees. Our retirement system, we have an excellent retirement system for our staff. Our court has not neglected our employees in any way, shape, or form. This year has been very difficult for everybody involved, starting from back in March with the pandemic. We've had a lot of staff, as you mentioned earlier, employees have been out, have been taking care of their children, taking care of whatever the situation may be in their home. I believe that, with all due respect to Judge Galeno, what he is doing, what he is proposing, is a really, really big slap in the face to every employee of this county.
Juanita?
With the exception of.
Juanita?
And that's all I have to say.
Okay. Real quick, I was just sitting here looking at the numbers. When we came in, and I think with under Judge Allen, our base pay was, 16,000. Right now, like under Judge Allen and then under, Judge Valdez and the courts that we had with Judge Allen and Judge Valdez and the court that we're at right now, we've gone from 16,000, if I'm not mistaken, base pay. Right now, we're at 24,500. That's just base pay, folks. And that's just, that's the low base pay. That isn't everything else that we adjusted. Our sheriff, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're 37 sheriff right now, right? Huh? 36.5, okay. When we came in, we were at 24,000 and change. Yeah. So this court, again, under Judge Allen, under Judge Valdez, and now this court, the way we sit right now, and I think with what we did last year, Jesus Christ, we bumped up different individuals by $3,000 and $4,000. I mean, just trying to get them, again, I think everybody needs to understand, I don't think there's any one of the five of us up here that would not say, let's give a raise, you know what I mean? It's just, there's so much other things that we have to deal with. And when you look at what we're going through, there's $500,000 in this budget, just to help with COVID, in reality. You know, so, and we don't even know what that's gonna cost us. You know, we do have an interlocal with, the school. We do have an interlocal with the city, but those interlocals expire at the end of this month, or at the end of this year. So they're basing on giving us money to do what we're doing, off of their grants, off what they've received. So that money's gonna go away, you know, so, again, I mean, you know, I know we get, and everybody's got an opinion, I mean, we have to respect that. But we've gone from 16 to 24.5 base pay. We've gone from 24,000 and change to almost 37, right, Sheriff? And when you look at what, you know, in the way Judge Cadena started off, when you look at everything just there that's been implemented and been done, this court put in $99,000 for radios, 70-some odd $1,000 for computers. And the court before, under Judge Valdez, had done the same thing. So, I mean, we're trying to do what's right. But again, this budget here, we had $1 million for Frontera Roads in this fiscal year. We ate that up. So this next fiscal year, we're gonna have to do something for that $1 million, and the other $700,000 we're short. This court's gonna have to decide, for one, do they want to go with the one program? I think, in my opinion, if we do that, with what we went over last year and what we looked at, it should be Odyssey. But is the court wanting to do that? You know, we all know that we were all at the fire last week, and we've had other fires, and we keep saying we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, but yet I still got people with no windows. It's just hard. But either way.
I think we need to put a list together, Judge, of the things that we need to do and figure out what that cost is, and then figure out how we're gonna fund it. We worked very hard to make sure that we have a reserve that can get us through the difficult times. And I don't want to use it all up.
Okay, and I'll ask, do y'all want to make a decision on one program to do this today? If y'all want to say, okay, we need to look at it, I want the numbers brought back, then that's what we'll do for September.
I am perfectly fine with one program. I think that's where we need to go. The question is how can we afford it?
Okay. Do y'all want to bring the numbers back? You know what I'm saying?
Bring the numbers back, Judge,
Okay, for one program.
for one program.
Okay. We have a $1.7 million deficit on Frontera, so we're gonna have to bring it back to figure out how we're gonna do that. Okay? Then we were talking about, and we're just gonna throw this wish list together, that way we can bring it back to y'all.
Fire trucks, equipment and all that, you're probably at about 1.2, 1.3.
Well, just the 2 tractors, you know,
You know,
1.2, and we'll make the list on fire. Do y'all want, and again, I'm against it for right now, but if the court wants to look at raises, you want me to bring
I
back?
want to relook at it come March or April.
Okay.
I'm not ready to look at it right now. I don't think right now is the time to look at it.
What do y'all think?
I think we need to look into it. I mean, even if it's a small raise, I mean, we can afford it, fine. If not, I mean, we can wait and bring it back, next fiscal
If we're not
year.
gonna do a 3% raise, it's just a 1% raise, they end up with just, I mean, to me, that's just really a slap in the face.
What about stipend?
But it's always better than nothing, I think. But, I mean, it's up to the court. I mean.
My deal would be, and that we either look at a raise, we don't look at a raise. So y'all need to tell me what do I do?
I'm not prepared to look at one until the middle of next year.
I would like to wait on a raise maybe early next coming year.
Anything else that y'all want brought back? What we'll do on September 16th, I think is the next date. Is that right? Yeah, the next meeting. We'll need to finalize all this. We'll do a budget workshop, we'll do a budget hearing, we'll set tax rate, and we're just gonna do everything. You okay with that?
Okay.
Well, I mean, because if not, we're gonna fall back later on, and then we're gonna be rushing for time like we've done in the past.
We'll do the heavy lifting today then, after we get
All this done.
all of our Zooms done.
Okay. Are y'all okay with that? Y'all wanna take a little break to get water and go to the restroom and stuff?
Yes,
and then
sir.
start? Okay, we're gonna take a little break. Let me know, if you don't mind, or Ram. Y'all okay? You tell me when, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Had 4 inches last night. 4 inches last night.
I don't know if y'all got that, but they
Then I
had
friend,
4 inches of
Angelo
rain
thought you
last night.
What?
Y'all ready?
We're ready.
Okay, we're back in court.
We're still on budgets,
No, we're done.
but I got a whole list of shit.
Oh, do you? We'll go back to it. I didn't know. We'll go back to budget. Yeah, Judge. We're on number 6, budget workshop.
Okay, we currently, on page 26 of 136, we currently have $300,000 budgeted for juvenile detention center. I'm assuming we just send a quarterly check over there and they spend it the way they
They spend it.
But the facility belongs to us, does it not?
Yes.
Then why are we sending that check instead of just doing it ourselves?
We do the maintenance, the 300,000 is for them to operate.
They operate in which part?
I think the 300 is the juvenile detention facility.
Just to pay the light bills and,
Salaries, everything. We give them $300,000 and then they operate it, basically,
So
they
that is
do
for
the
salaries.
salaries, they do everything. sir.
that is the salary.
Yes, sir.
And then the
And
additional
anything else that
33,
they don't have grants for,
and then any money left over goes where?
they keep it.
And why do they keep it?
They keep it. I have no idea.
That's just how it's set up, Commissioner. There has been some talk of bringing it in as a department. That could be a good idea. If we want to.
How much money are they keeping a year?
I think
Offhand, I
they,
don't know, but we can,
I think they have a little over 100,000 is what, 2 weeks ago. No?
how many weeks
A little
ago?
over 100, 2 weeks ago is my understanding.
Ooh, that would be pretty rich.
Is it?
Probation's not here to speak on that half, but my understanding that's.
So if we give them 300,000, and then we turn around and give them another 33,000.
Yeah, that 33,000 is what actually filters into the grant. The detention center, the 300 is kind of a separate entity, if you want to say so to speak.
I mean, if they're keeping our money, we didn't have any problem going after the DA to get our money back. I don't know why we don't get our money back
Now,
here.
correct. Now, if the detention center was brought in as a county department, it would simply, appropriations not spent, it would just hold back the minutes.
So then we need to look at that.
Okay.
We need to bring it under and budget for it, if we have the legal right to do it.
Okay.
And then we need to look at all of the budgets in the past and how much money was left over, and see if that money belongs to a county. And then, I noticed, since you're already standing here, in your budget, we added an additional, or you added, or somebody did.
We did.
For $2,000 something. For, find it here. $2,500 for contract services. We haven't had.
Page number, please.
16.
That actually was budgeted a few years ago for 5,000. That's actually been been being reduced. I believe it was budgeted at 5,019. None was accessed, and it was budgeted at 5,000. That is something that we are drawing down. It's simply for contract services. I know last year we had that 3750 expense to put us on PosiPay. through Tyler. Unfortunately, this line item wouldn't have covered all that, so that item was brought to court, taken out of contingency. It is simply for just contract services that come up through the year.
And we pay $3,000 a year to the board's juvenile board member. Correct?
Correct, you do.
We're not obligated to pay them.
I have no idea, actually, to tell you the truth.
It said, the Commissioners Court may
Okay,
pay the juvenile board members additional annual compensation set by Commissioners Court of not less than $1,200 and not more than $3,600 payable equally a month.
okay. That is something that's probably been set up for years. I
But
can't
during
speak to that.
but during the budget process, it can go to $1,200.
And then go, well, we're gonna go to zero.
I thought it said,
It says may.
okay.
It didn't say have to. It says if you do, it can't be less than, but it can be more than, and it can't be more than. It doesn't say that, it doesn't say they shall, it says they may.
Okay. Your motion?
My motion is to take it to zero.
All the members on the juvenile?
Yep.
Second.
Have a, okay, let me write this down. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw, to reduce, the supplement for for the individuals that serve on the juvenile board to zero. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Judge, under the Whitehead Museum budget here.
Okay, let's take a vote on this one,
Okay.
okay? All those in favor?
All right.
All those against? 5-0 vote. Okay, let's finish with one commissioner and then we'll
All right.
do a round if you don't mind, sir.
You bet.
On this statute that creates the Valverde County Juvenile Board, we need to relook at that in the next session because they took out, when they did this, and amended it in 1981 and again in 2013, they took out a lot of powers that we need to relook at, but we'll look at that during the legislative session. And I would like us to look at what do we need to do to bring that back underneath the county juvenile detention. And I'll make a motion that we request an audit of the juvenile detention and adult probation, so that we can look at what kind of monies are left over.
Yes, those are currently audited by an independent auditor every year.
So bottom line is.
I understand, but we don't have to.
Okay, they just need to be presented to you. No big deal.
Then I'll withdraw my motion and we'll just get them.
Okay.
That's all I've got right now.
Now, may I interrupt, Judge?
Now, the motion, he was making a motion to require an audit, but there's already an audit done, so all we're gonna do is go, get copies of both the audit for the juvenile and the audit for the adult probation.
Along with budget.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that, there's no motion needed.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that.
Did,
Martin?
Yes, sir. On the Whitehead Museum budget here, I would like to ask for a breakdown on the payroll. It's a lump sum, $95,000. We don't know what kind of pay increases those are. We don't know. You can't tell what it is.
Got a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
so you want to, limit funding or just
No,
limit
right
any
now,
expenditures?
what we want is the expenditures. We have a motion by Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
All right.
All right.
Yes, sir. And under fund balance report, what are these carryovers? Ending balance, are those carryovers into this year's budget? There's looks to be like $8 million.
$8 million.
In which fund, Commissioner?
This fund balance report.
Sure, but,
That's just the report that I've got here.
yeah, it should be
It
broken
shows
down.
that ending balance is, for this budget.
In the general fund?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's correct, but we're still not done with the year, so. we
So
currently-
that much will be spent by the end of the year?
No, it will not.
Well.
We
Yeah, that's
got 3
right.
weeks.
This is the one he's talking about. Did you see this one?
Yeah, that's the request issue. I just didn't know which.
Wanted to make sure.
line item we were talking about.
No, I saw it. I mean,
That's a lot of money left.
That's a good thing.
Where's that money? Where's it gonna go? What's in the bank?
that will be part of our, fund balance when we start the year, whatever is left over at that point.
Now, late last night, I did email out the adjustments that were done in the prior budget. I don't know if you printed them off. If I may approach, I can distribute them.
Distribute, please.
Okay. And there's some on that are gonna need approval.
No one's been there, no, right, no.
Thank you.
Okay. This is one you sent out late yesterday.
Yeah, like last night.
Okay, so what is this side on here? So possible moving to balance budget.
Well, those are just some moves that would be eligible if you guys, just some ideas to try to get out a structurally balanced budget, which appears it may be possible, in addition to a tax cut.
And when it says pipes, what is?
That's the current revenue from the pipeline that's coming in.
Oh, that's proposed revenue.
That is proposed revenue. The pipes are here. They didn't put it in the ground. It would be best to try to talk to the contractor to see. My understanding is the same linear footage as the last one that came in to generate a little over that amount. My understanding is also these pipes are bigger. I do not know what they're made of. These pipes may generate more revenue or less, but it's best that we talk to the
Let's start
contractor.
with the pre-trial.
Okay.
Pre-trial is, county attorney. Is that the one you're looking at?
Well, it's both,
Okay.
county attorney and
So the
district attorney.
breakdown, I think when we looked at it, I'd asked the county attorney, more or less what was spent per year. She said about 11%. So if we went back 3 years, not this year, went back 3 years, we were bucking somewhere around 100,000 anyway.
Okay.
So that would justify that, and then it'd still leave her like, it would still leave in that county attorney line item $39,000 in case they wanted to buy equipment or something, bring it before the court in order to help with pre-trial.
Okay.
Okay? The other 20, I guess, would come from the DA's office. Okay. And that legally we can.
When you go get it?
So that 120 is good. The $800,000 though, it's not ours yet.
Well, any of this money in this budget is not ours yet.
Well, the 120 though, it's there. I can actually go.
Okay. A budget is a budget. The only thing actual on a budget is the page count, right?
It's the color of money.
That's right. Okay.
So
Keep saying.
this 800,000 is projecting an additional and increased sales tax revenue if
They stage it here.
stage it here. If they don't stage it here, this money doesn't exist.
Well, we don't know. That's when you talk to contractor. It depends on what stage. There's a couple avenues they can take. They can take it at the drop site, which they're all sitting in Kenny County. If you look at Kenny County sales tax, we're not seeing the 1,800% increase, that we saw last one that came in. Or they can, tax it, register the sale when it is dropped into the ground. If that is the case, Valverde County is a big county, we will, reap the rewards of that for being a large county, just like we did last time that it came through.
But in answer to your question,
There's no guarantee.
no.
And there's no guarantee anybody's gonna pay their property taxes, but we put that in the budget. Okay. But it's best to talk to the contractor. I'm sure they will give us all the information we need.
Okay. So the 120 for sure we can bring over. The pipes, the 500 in contingency, you're trying to cut 500 that we already put in there.
Well, right. Contingency now is budgeted at $1 million.
Yeah.
And I understand the 500 there is for COVID. Understand. What we could do is wrap that up into fund balance. Now, if that's wrapped up in fund balance, you can still access that through the year. You just declare an emergency. And if it was due to COVID, nobody would question it. Then you could access it in fund balance. But what it's going to prevent is it's going to prevent come year end, well, our contingency is still at 700, let's go spend 600. That's what it could prevent.
I would rather have $1 million in contingency. But, I mean, again, that's your court decision, whatever the court wants to do.
I'm partially comfortable with it, and I'm partially uncomfortable leaving $1 million in contingency.
Well, the thing is though, that we still have control. either way. And you know, like people say, I got to learn it out.
Three people have it.
The other one, you do have to declare it an emergency, but that's fine, I mean, capital leases or what?
Now, this capital leases, this is, last court, we put in to pay off the fire truck. That would have been, I came in at 168 because there is a prepayment penalty. Now, the scheduled payment was around 38,000, so this is just the difference. If you decided not to pay it off, it would increase your cash flow this year. But once again,
So they're gonna penalize us for early pay?
They are.
How much?
I believe it's 2,500, in that range, 2,500.
And what are we saying on interest?
Interest, you would save 14,000 over the course of 5 years. Well, actually, you'd say, well, yes, 14,000. But minus the 25, so you'd save, yeah,
We'd only say
12,500. 12,500 over the course of 5
We'd
years.
only say 12,000.
Probably not worth it for us. Probably not worth it for us.
Why wouldn't we pay it off and save 12,000?
If you had cash flow issues, you wanted, if you wanted it to, get to a balanced budget, and there's nothing wrong with not filing a structurally balanced budget. It's very rare that it happens. But it's just to
But
get
if we
that
paid it off, I'd say 12,000.
over the course of 5 years, correct?
And then, well, over the
We'd
course.
be able to release for more fire trucks.
So we
That's
would,
fine, just pay it off.
we would pay off a fire truck and then we just lease a new fire truck. Okay,
And that's gonna be that wish list that just put together.
okay.
The sheriff, 100,000?
The sheriff, the 100,000 on the sheriff, this is just, depending on what happens with Odyssey, what I did there is 235 is budgeted, and I just kind of just wipe out 100 if we decide to go with the leasing program, and put the
So
leasing
that
in at
when we get back
135.
to on the leasing program.
When we get back to the leasing program, correct. And that number will fluctuate, these are just examples and possible moves that you guys could
So
do.
let's do this. As we're going down this list, let's take care of the leasing program. You provided us a sheet.
We did, and they are on the Zoom, ready to go.
That's why,
Okay.
that way we don't, I'm sorry. I thought it'd be simple, but.
But we can make it simple, I'll grab the sheet, you wanna go over the sheet?
Yeah. I mean, what you need from us is something, they need something from us that we're actually interested in order to be able to proceed.
Correct, that you, buy into their theory on leasing the vehicle, selling the vehicle when it's still new for a higher price. And at that point, then they will shoot over the legal documents to the county attorney, they can start to review that, and then they can go out for, pricing on the outfit.
Did you have a chance to look at this, because you were the ones dealing,
Yeah, I mean,
We're on the second page, that's 46. I think we went from 30. Y'all heard this one?
Nope. I can distribute those again.
there's some savings in the first few years and then,
Yeah. Make sure we know. We'll do the one on the second page. They talked about 33, which is on the first page, and now we're up at 46. If we don't do it soon, we'll be at 70-something.
Here's the update. This was the first one. You had that Zoom on the first one.
On the second page, there's
This is the second one.
43 vehicles.
And what's going on there is, you're really being aggressive going after it.
The question that I had, we have like 235 or 240,000, something like that budgeted in this coming fiscal year's budget. So if you look, all the way over where it says lease, up on top, it says annual needs, owned, leased, purchase, and then lease. Bottom line is, we have enough budgeted for that, and
we'll get how many the first year? 15 in vehicles versus the 200 and something.
Basis four.
So, yeah.
The only thing that is not in here, and they were wanting to see if we would look at this, if we're gonna look hard at it, then they would come back at us with a cost to outfit them, because this is not, the cost to outfit them is not on here. Some of these vehicles have 10-year-old radios. What I did ask the sheriff was if we could keep some of the lights and stuff and maybe make sure that they all have new radios, going into it, so he would get us the cost for the next go round. But right now, Enterprise would want to know if we're actually thinking about entertaining it, if we're not even gonna think.
Well,
about
I
entertaining it.
think the numbers look good, because if you look at, even if in 2030, I mean, we're at 301,000, and we've been budgeting about 250, 260, and that replaces pretty much our whole entire fleet, and keeps it within 4 years, I think. 4 to 5 years.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
dollar for dollar, you're ahead, but I would like to get the number on
Okay.
all the other stuff. I mean, but yeah, I would like us to move forward with this, but I do want that number for lights and sirens and, all the other stuff that we need to put on that thing. And I don't know what all that is, because you know best what can be transferred and what needs to be replaced.
So, item 17, proposal for enterprise capital leases, do I have a motion to move?
Motion.
Well, Director, don't we want the presentation first? And we don't want to.
We've already looked at all this, and when they started doing the presentation, they're gonna unsell themselves.
There are some experienced, I believe it's a 3-person team, there's some experienced government capital that actually do.
Y'all wanna listen to them? It's up to y'all.
I mean, they still gotta come back with numbers now that we're saying to move forward.
Correct.
So,
No more information is needed? You don't want to?
well, I mean, the information, I've got the information I
And
need.
it's here. I mean, my deal is, like you said earlier, they need to be able to come back to us,
That's correct.
right? So they need us to do something now and say, yes, let's move forward. So they
Okay.
can come back to us to get them outfitted,
Correct.
right? So that's what's the motion right now,
Okay.
okay? I have a motion, Commissioner Middleton. Second? Second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote, so they can get going and bring us back.
The contract and all of the other stuff.
The contract, they'll bring them back, give them to us now so we can get them with them.
Okay.
All right? Sheriff, you okay with that?
Yes.
So getting back to the little blue paper, we'd save about $100,000.
That's just a round estimate. It looks like going off this, it's gonna be more. But,
Okay, so we're good.
okay.
So do we need to take that out of the budget, or just leave it for now, or take it out?
Well, I guess we could leave it in for now until we know the accurate price.
And then the other one's a DMV audit.
Yeah, this is just, channeling my inner Jack Welch, with, budget smoothing. It's just, we are set to close on D&D audit. It looks like there's about $380,000 in there with the help of Roy Muskis and his staff was able to, have us do that very quickly. We can close on that, or we can close on that in the next fiscal. And that is just simply, right now, it's tied into, beginning fund balance, which doesn't touch anything. Your net number is not gonna change. It would just be your change in fund balance to get a structurally balanced budget along with the tax cut, which is very, very impressive.
Okay, so right now what we're looking at is out of the 2.3 million, the 120 for pretrial, the 380 for the DMV, and the 100 for sheriff, more or less. Because the rest of them, we left alone.
And how realistic is this attorney to others that we just increased by 200,000?
If the capital cases that he has in line come forward, we're gonna go through it. If they proceed, they'll go through it. What's up? Oh, I thought you had your hand. They will go through it, Commissioner.
So then what are we cutting?
Sir?
So are we cutting anything on this list?
So it's up to whatever you guys want to do.
I think what we went through right now is the pretrial we can bring over.
Mhm.
The capital leases, we're gonna go ahead and pay off, so we can't bring that savings over. The sheriff, the 100,000, if we go through this to enterprise, it looks like we can bring over the 100.
Okay, I'm sorry, was capital leases a goal to pay that
Capital
off?
leases was to pay it off.
Pay it off, okay.
So we can't
So
bring
that
that
will
up.
not be there, okay.
The only thing we can bring over is the 120, possibly the 100 for the sheriff, and for sure the 380 also from the DMV audit.
Now, the DMV is rolled into beginning fund balance right now, we can take that out, and simply that is nothing more than a move to show the change to reduce the amount of the deficit in the budget. That's all it is. Your net number will remain the same.
But okay.
So it was just something that was out
Just
there
to clarify these numbers.
to show what a great job you guys are doing.
You're good. What was the phrase that you used to use for our employees? What was that one? You used the phrase.
I did.
Our number one
asset is human capital, right? Maybe?
Number
Yeah.
one asset, what?
Number one asset is human capital.
It's human capital.
There
There you go. That's what, thought that was pretty good.
Okay. Now, if we go to the last page. Everything on the top has already been approved during the first budget. These are the items that need to be approved. The Air Life is going to go up 4,227. Our GASB 65 is due this year. We're going to need to budget that in. That's at every other year. And that's for our OPEB obligation. The appraisal offices went up 24,685. And then we have the salaries for the county auditor's office. We have the salaries for the purchasing office. We have the salaries for the court reporters in the 63rd and 83rd.
Okay, let's do one thing at a time.
Okay.
The Air Life, what I've got here is 32, item 23.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nelson, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Done deal. Okay, man, I'm sorry.
Okay. You could just do a blanket approval on these items, or you can run through them individually. But these are the ones that need to be approved to facilitate the needs that are coming out.
So we need to add money for Gatsby.
We do. Correct.
Motion to add the $5,950.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to add $5,950 to Gatsby. We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote.
Did we get our life in there?
Air Life, we already made the motion.
Okay, thank you.
And we took care of that.
Okay, appraisal offices, that budget's been approved, so that is what it is.
You need, okay. So there's no action by the court on those?
Well, we're gonna need to put it into this budget, so I don't know if you wanna take action on it, but that's gonna be the invoice that's coming. It's gonna need an increase of 24,000.
But, what is this for, the 24,000 increase on the appraisal offices?
That was their
Correct.
budget that they sent us that we voted against, has $24,000 more than what we paid last year.
Well, not quite that much, because we are gonna have to do a budget amendment for this one, simply because the one that's in the current budget right now was passed.
301, I went to go.
It was passed before.
And they had no revenue left over. They spent every
That was-
single penny.
Currently, they're hanging on to their appropriation savings to fight your number one taxpayer, the wind farm, which we give a discount to every year.
I need a motion, let's do a motion on that one, that way we're clear. We got it, folks.
You ain't getting one from me. The rest of these, you ain't getting shit from me.
I'm gonna make a motion to go ahead and pay the extra $24,685 to the appraisal district. I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
No?
Nope.
Okay, 4-1 vote. Okay, the rest of them,
Yeah, by statute, they're done.
huh?
By statute, they're done. You have to apply
And we won't take any action, you ask.
them. Okay.
Judge,
Oh, come on.
I have a
Do you
question,
want to talk?
I have a question on animal control. Where do we stand with that, department?
Animal control, they're done, and we have called for inspection. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Commissioner, Judge. We've called for an inspection. They told us, they advised us it'd be about 2 to 3 weeks. That was, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, actually. So we expect them anytime in the next 2 weeks to come down here and inspect our facility.
Now, your officers that are patrolling, you got two of them or just one?
I got one officer,
One deputy.
one deputy,
Just one truck,
and then 2
one-
technicians.
Yeah, okay. The reason I bring it up, Sheriff, I don't see them much. I mean, I don't know, what are they doing? I mean,
They're taking all kinds of calls. You wouldn't believe it, Commissioner. They're working an animal case every day. They're seizing, or they're picking up, strays. They're storing them. They're,
where do we stand with dead animals? That's one big question that I have. I mean, whose responsibility is that, Judge? I mean, this is to the court.
it's not addressed in our policy to pick up, the dead animals, I guess. Something that we can address and, work on and move forward.
What has happened in the past is that the precincts have picked up the dead animals on the road once we get a phone call from the sheriff. Now, if we want to change policy, look at policy, we need to bring it back.
Well, I would think it would really be better if that, would fall under responsibility of animal control. The way they have a place, I don't know, where to dispose of the carcass or, I mean, I don't know, it's just something I'm bringing up, I mean, wouldn't have to.
Yeah. We can visit on it, depends. I mean, those three individuals, they're extremely busy every day. Every day.
And we hadn't, since the hailstorm, I mean, there was still stuff to fix, but since the hailstorm, they had to go back and fix the roof, and it's just been like one thing after another.
Yes.
So
And
when
then-
they got that done, then you ordered inspection.
Yes, and IT is fixing to put all the stuff that they need in the building, probably be done hopefully by the end of the week, if not next. And hopefully that'll fall right in timing with the inspection from.
I thought he said he'd be done today.
He's like, if you hurry up and finish this.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay.
Is there anything else on the budget that anybody has?
Judge, I've got one, and I know we've been there, but I don't know if we're gonna do something concerning food distribution. I mean, my question is, if we're not eventually the way we've been doing this, I mean, I'd like to, convert that part-timer into a full-time position. I mean, I really need that extra help,
Okay, well, let's do this. When we get back down to food distribution, we'll figure out what we're doing on 22, and then if we need to come back, we'll come back. Would that be okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Anybody else? One. Okay. Approving subdivision plat? None. Approving certificates of compliance? Approving monthly reports? On elected officials? A motion, Commissioner Nelson? Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote, approving bills.
Second.
Who said that? Is it you? Who?
Yeah, Judge, the point.
Commissioner Middleton, on the motion, I'm sorry, Commissioner Vasquez second, all those in favor?
Aye.
I need to straighten up, put my good ears for you. All those in favor? Aye, we've already voted. Number 11, authorizing Judge Jones to sign a TCEQ application for temporary water rights permit on Pecos River for road maintenance water extraction for 1 year up to 10 acre feet.
Move.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote, update on City Del Rio proposed alignment of north side sanitary sewer line on Frontera Road.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. The City of Del Rio is working on a design phase, a 30% design phase on a 7-mile-long sanitary sewer project, extending from the city wastewater treatment on Frontera Road, and then it goes north, coasting the west side of the city, at its final destination at lift station in Lawson Road. We had a meeting, last week on Tuesday, August 25th, with the city manager and utilities director to discuss the possible alignment, because at this moment they're proposing to be on the center line on Frontera Road.
That'll be the day after we finish construction.
Yeah.
2 days.
We got 2 days to let
So, we found out that they have a 20 feet wide easement on the west right away of Frontera Road, so at that meeting, we asked them to move to that easement.
I got a question on that. Where is you talking, on the other side of that
On
fire
Tuffy's.
fence?
On Tuffy's,
On his field?
yes.
Okay, so that's good. I mean, that's
We asked him, but he has also found out that, I guess we ask first, and then we don't allow him to put it in the road would be second. So right now, we've asked them to realign it. We're being nice, so we'll see what they come back with. If they don't, then court will have to take action.
Okay.
Pretty much it, right?
Yes, that easement is dated in 1963, and according to Texas Utility Code, we have the authority to assign a location on the line.
Okay.
just down the middle of it.
Can you bring us a little drawing, a little map,
Yes, sir.
next meeting, just to show us where, more or less?
Yes, sir, of course.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We don't need any action on this,
No.
right? Okay, we're good. Item 13, precinct 4, to move $16,420.18 from money received to repair the van and transfer to capital outlay.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion on this. I need that money to buy a truck for.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner, no, talk yourself down. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Item 14, auditor's report, no action needed. No, it is, I'm sorry, you're not the treasurer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote, budget adjustment. Other attorney, $4,019.76 from available appropriations.
What we do have, we have a $24,000, PO still with Bickerstaff. It looks like we'll be able to leave that. We did get that final invoice in and it was a really low dollar amount. So we could alleviate this, $24,000, PO. And then that'll give us room for this, and this will give us room for the next 6 courts where we will continue to get vouchers from attorneys.
Okay. That motion.
Motion.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second,
Second?
Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Other hospital, $705.50 from available appropriations.
So there's going to be a contingency item. That budget line item is, currently depleted.
The hospital budget line item is currently depleted.
This is for what?
This is for indigent health care.
There's no other place in this budget to get.
I could bring it back and we can take it from somebody's budget, or we can just take it from contingency.
Y'all bring it back? We have time?
Sure, I can bring that back, yeah.
Motion to approve. There you go, get out of it.
Second, that, Judge?
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner
It's gonna be
Vasquez.
one of them days.
All those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Item C, other appraisals, $12,840. $12,840.04 from available appropriations.
Yes, this is what we knew coming in, we were going to receive at the end of the year when we did not put in our full budget amount. So this will have to be facilitated. And of course, a natural place will be contingency.
Okay, you lost me.
Okay. It's for this year, it's for last invoice. The amount that was put in a prior year budget.
No, was not enough.
Correct.
Okay.
Motion to approve out of contingency.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton,
Second?
second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye, 5-0 vote. Non-department insurance, $24,819.86 from available appropriations.
There's non-department insurance.
Yeah, this actually was a really good, this is our final invoice out of a $1.2 million, line items. This was a really good guess. This handles all of our insurances as employees come and go. This handles our TWC. This handles all that. So it was a pretty good job, I think.
Basically, we didn't put in there enough, but it was a $1.2 million line item.
Motion to approve out of contingency.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second.
Then Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Precinct 1, operating, $15,000 to capital outlay.
Motion.
You have no money in capital outlay?
Got a little, I'm gonna have to put that together with some, tax note to buy a truck.
He's using all of it put together.
What item is that? I'm lost here.
I'm sorry, it's item 15, E, item 15.
Okay.
I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw,
Second?
second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 16. Okay, we're not doing that one. We already talked about that. Y'all want to table that one? We've already looked at it.
Yeah.
Okay, have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton,
Second.
second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Enterprise, we've already done that. That was a 5-0 vote. Item 18, approving an agreement with Texas Parks and Wildlife Department to continue as a county boat agent for a 5-year period, September 1, 2020 through August 31st, 2025.
Move.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Treasurer's report, this is the one that is not necessary. We move past it. Discussion matters relating to COVID. The only thing I've got is that we're testing, pre-testing today, tomorrow, and I think the teachers are having testing also at the end of the, on Friday.
Where's this taking place at, Judge?
Civic Center today and tomorrow, and then on Friday, they're gonna do part of it, I think at the Civic Center, and then at one of the schools.
Okay.
And, we've already, who screened?
Somebody over.
I didn't screen as the judge.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday in city council, they said that we were going to approve the declaration the seventh declaration today during Commissioner's report.
Okay, well, they didn't know what they were talking about. We were still waiting, I think they were trying to make changes on it. And if you want, I guess what you're getting at is that I need approval in order to sign it?
No,
Okay. All right.
no, that's just what they said, and I think we already sent out the last draft, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But no, I was just letting you know that that's what they said, that they were waiting.
Yeah.
They approved
And-
theirs because it expired,
Yeah.
and that we were gonna approve ours today, and then they would make changes today.
And I think we had, like 3 meetings ago or something, we approved the emergency, I think, for like 90 days or something like that.
Yes.
So that gave me the authority to, I'm
I
sorry.
separated that from yours,
Yeah.
so that way we deal directly with the court on that one that goes every 90 days,
Mhm.
and then you have the
Authority
authority.
to write the declaration, yes. The last email that I got, they were trying to clean it up and they were gonna send it back to you. So, okay?
Very good.
Anybody have questions on that one? Right now, we do have an interlocal with the city. They did do with the tracers. They signed it, got it back, and we're gonna get them a bill for the tracers and whatever they're paying for. And get also a bill to, the school. And that will free up some of the funds that we already had encumbered out of that, $724,000 to help us make it through the year. That work? Okay, item 21, approving a resolution for county transportation infrastructure grant. Have a motion to approve the resolution?
Move.
Second.
Okay, have a motion, Commissioner, Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Okay, food distribution. I know we talked about this in the past. Did y'all wanna leave it the same? Y'all wanna have one centralized location? Or just shoot this horse and go home?
I would like to have one centralized location.
I think it needs to be one centralized location.
I'll make the motion, Judge.
I agree on that too, just a matter of where y'all wanna do this,
We have a motion, but your motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, would be to have one centralized location. Is there any?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make that motion that, be at the county fairgrounds under direction of Commissioner Vasquez.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Wardlaw made a motion. Did you hear Jamie?
We can't hear you.
part of it.
Commissioner?
The school's gonna be in charge?
Yeah, Commissioner Wardlaw made a motion for one centralized location, to be at the county fairgrounds and to be under Commissioner Vasquez. We had a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, have a second, Commissioner Nettleton.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, Judge, I think there's a couple more questions that I'd like to, if we centralize it in, for example, at the fairgrounds, is that gonna hinder anything, for example, with our community center? I wanna make sure that we don't in any way hinder, the project that's already been done at the community center with Mr. Gus.
Well, I appreciate that, Commissioner, it's up to y'all. If y'all think it's gonna work at the fairgrounds, I don't have a problem. I mean, I can keep my regular state-funded program, that food distribution I do once a month. But I mean, it's up to y'all, whatever y'all wanna do. I mean, do y'all think that's gonna work for you guys?
We need your assistance. We need you.
Well, the thing is, we've got a lot of things going at the community center. That's the biggest problem there. I mean, that I'm already,
We need you to participate in this.
the only way that I would participate is maybe go and get some loads of food at the food banks, and that's about it, but.
Well, and that's part of my discussion, Gus. I wanna make sure that you get, the same amount of loads, even more. I wanna make sure we don't leave,
No, I mean,
food pantry out of anything.
or if you guys, I don't know, if you wanna break it into two different spots, the community center and the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I think we need to centralize it, but I also don't believe that we should leave the, community center.
Well, I appreciate that. People are gonna appreciate that very much,
Oh,
to be
yeah.
honest with you. We don't mind
Okay, so I'm confused.
We're going right back to what we had.
Well, but we want to have, precinct 2, precinct 1, 2 different dates, and we've come, basically, I want to get right now, what's going on, I want to get my guys out on the field a lot more. I've got a lot of volunteers, but the only couple of guys that I keep during the distribution, there are guys that operate the
But if we
forklifts.
move it to the fairgrounds, or, it doesn't matter where we move it, you still gotta have the people to function and run it. So you're still obligating all of your.
You gotta form a new
foremen
department.
And everybody else to go manage this. There's a big one tomorrow that's gonna take all 3 of us to put together.
All 4 of us. You gonna help us, guys?
No. Yeah, we're right back where we started from, and we still have to get facilities.
Could we have some more discussion on it? I know it's been prolonged.
The two biggest distributors right now, and I'm trying to keep from a quorum here, but the two biggest distributors right now are precinct 2 and precinct 4. Y'all need to get together and come up with a plan.
Okay.
And everybody keeps agreeing that one centralized location,
No, we split it too.
but y'all just lost.
Nobody can agree on the location, that's the problem.
Y'all need to come up with the plan, because we all agree that you're falling behind, he's falling behind, Gus is falling behind, you're falling behind, everybody's falling behind on what y'all are really supposed to do.
And Judge, I'm sorry, I do believe that the fairgrounds would be a centralized location, but I'm also, for respect for Commissioner
two
Flores,
people.
about,
Okay, both of y'all, Martin has started, this year, but the two people that gave out the most were precinct 2 and precinct 4. I'm not saying precinct 1 in there, because then becomes a quorum, so y'all need to visit and
I'll visit with
come back with something.
Okay.
All right.
And at the end of the day, the centralized doesn't matter. If we're gonna order food 4 times a week, we're all still gonna eat the same.
Yes.
Could I please ask them to consider November 2nd and 3rd not to have anything there? We have the polling place for the 4-H, it's gonna be an election at the polling place.
Okay, not a problem. They will take that into advisement, not have nothing. Can y'all do that? Nothing November 2nd and 3rd. Oh, and we're not gonna take any action on food distribution. Do you want to rescind your motion? That way they can have a chance to visit? Yeah. Motion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're good. You accept?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna skip on to 23, in which we've already done. Now we're moving quick. Only taking us 3 hours. Accepting and awarding lowest bid submitted by Hunter Industries of $4,848,496.90. I just wanna make you cry. Right? I mean, how long has it been? We're moving forward on that.
16 years.
Huh?
16 years.
Do I have a motion, Commissioner Flores?
Yes, I'll make a motion, Judge. I'd like to, make a recommendation to the court that we award, the project to the lowest bidder, which was Hunter Industries. And this will be subject to approval with, TxDOT. TxDOT.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor?
Question,
Yes, sir.
Judge, does this mean we accept this, this means Odyssey's out?
No, this has nothing to do with, this is on Frontera Road. No, sir. No,
The vision,
what y'all have asked me to do is put a budget together and bring back to see what is it that we can afford and look at the numbers and then bring that back to you in 2 weeks.
okay.
So this does not mean that Odyssey's out.
How about
It'll be something the court will have to decide in 2 weeks. Okay?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yeah.
5-0 vote. Discussion and issues related to Diego Cadena event, Valverde County Fairgrounds. Edgar, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
Okay.
What are the issues?
Well, Diego Cadena wasn't able to make it, he had a family emergency. But he did have, he told me to ask these 2 questions, it's okay if I can do it on his behalf. He was asking, because other counties, according to him, and what we've been seeing is, other counties have been operating in full capacity, what it seems like. And he was asking if that was something that he can do himself here. And I know in the past, I explained to him that, when they approved this event, the court asked that he follow protocols and set forth by the governor and county judge. So that was one of the questions that he had. And another question is that if the county would be able to provide, disinfectant during his event, and he would have his own people, spray the chutes and the handrails throughout the whole, venue here.
Edgar, real quick, let's do question one, operating at full capacity. I've not read anywhere where we could even allow to operate at full capacity. I think it's at 50%. So that's his answer to his question, to that one, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, it'd be 50%. The next one is, I guess the court will decide, would we, if this thing was allowed, would we provide disinfecting? I'd hate to get into this.
No, it's gonna get real expensive, because everybody's gonna want us to do it, so.
Okay. I guess the next
And it's
question.
not cheap.
The next question would be is, at this point, and looking at everything that's going on, he had come to us, we'd approved it, then he came back to us and told us that he didn't want to do it, him and Rotary. So at that point, both events were off, and now he's coming back to us that, Diego, wants to go ahead and do it again. Is the court willing to allow them to do it and to rent the fairgrounds and operate the event under the guidelines of the state?
When are they gonna have it? I don't remember the dates.
Diego, Edgar, when were they gonna have it? Diego.
October 19th, I believe. I don't have the date with me, but, I believe it was 19th.
Still almost 2 months away. Motion?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that he be permitted to do this under the guidelines of you and the governor.
Okay, one of the issues, and we'll have to visit with legal right now, it is a county facility, but the facility lies inside the city limits. So that might be another hurdle that he needs to jump. I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw.
Second.
Second, Commissioner, Nettleton. Again, even if we approve it, Commissioner Wardlaw, we need to look at the legality to check and see if, because it lies in the city limits, if he still needs permission from the city.
No problem.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 26, awarding bid for used motor grader bid number 20-007 to Yellow House Machinery Company for a total amount of $130,000 to be paid out of precinct 2 capital outlay account.
Move.
A motion, Commissioner, Flores, second.
Judge, I'd like to make a comment here. I've got $128,781 in my, capital, so I'd like to, pay the rest out of my, operating.
Commissioner Flores?
I'll accept, yes.
I need a second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Nettleton. Janie, did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 27, authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to sign 2021 state and local HIDA task force agreement.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Why is it signed by you and not the judge? Or that's just the way you do it?
I thought that's always been done. That's how I get the agreements.
Okay.
No, not mine, or the judge, so.
We're over here.
Nettleton made motion, Commissioner Flores seconded. I think we already voted, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
5-0 vote. Item 28, authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to purchase a DYMO data market electronic data time stamper out of operating supplies line item in the amount of $739.95.
Now, what's that?
It's, we've had 3 in the office and they're all,
What are
their life expectancy. Every time somebody, brings in paperwork,
Oh,
it's
okay.
timestamped.
Okay, motion to approve. I just think like a whole lot of words just to say it.
Yeah. A machine. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
All right.
5-0 vote. 29, approval of HR monthly report from August 5th, 2020 through September 22nd.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Executive session items that may result in action in open session thereafter. closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code, A, 551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege, B, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, C, 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses A, contemplated litigation. We'll take a little break and then we'll get back. That work?
Paluska's right there, we were just talking
You sound
about.
like Doc Holliday, say when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking, I can't tell you what we were talking about. For an executive session. And-
But you were the topic.
You, We've already told you too much.
All right, sir. All right. Commissioners Court, come back into session. It is, 12:10. No action was taken in Commissioners Court. Commissioners' comments?
I've got to come in. I've got a check here, a donation from my daughter Stella and Chad Alcott, and they want to thank the judge, the commissioners, the fire department, the city, the sheriff's department, the city police, the firefighters from Uvalde. They want to thank everybody because the fire came right up over their house there on the hill there. And, she said it was, for saving their property and their animals, more important than their animals. She said it was truly the scariest afternoon of their lives. And so I'm gonna give this check to Commissioner Nettleton for his committee to accept. And I want y'all to realize their appreciation is very much appreciated.
How much is it?
Huh?
How much is it?
$1,000.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Judges' comments, none. You brought up the fire, I said no, but I'm gonna talk. It was pretty scary for a little bit. You know, and it was, again, and I said the other night, it's just a team effort. It was one of those deals, and I got a little bit emotional right now, earlier. You know, our people, the individuals that we work with, go beyond. And it is a hard decision on the raises, it is, but you have people that were out there on dozers and on foot and everything trying to figure the damn thing out. And then you have an individual that's in the pot, you know, and now we're getting breathing stuff. I mean, just impressive. I mean, but either way.
They went late. They went late, overtime.
Yeah. Not everybody, I mean, you know, you ended up getting one of the trucks unstuck or whatever. I mean, he got stuck and they kept harping on me. That was the first time in 6 years that I got to drive a fire truck because they wouldn't let me drive. No, for 6 years he kept me all over a truck, but either way. If I don't have anything else, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting. You don't have anything? No. Meeting adjourned. Y'all have a great day.